Hey everyone, we're doing something fun. We're gonna do like a mini cast, I guess, except we're actually gonna be entertaining, and we're gonna we're gonna draw while we do it. Welcome to a special version of the Fatty Cast, where what are we gonna call this? Should we call this like
Call it the draw pile.
No, it's not
So
draw
creative.
pile though.
Call it the sketchbook segment.
Fuck. I'm trying to think of like a pun, like a punny way of saying fatty cast or something, or like something about it. I like the only thing that went through my head was like add a pen.
Add a pen, like adipose.
Yeah, like adipose fat, as in fat people.
Like post as in post-traumatic stress disorder, which is what you're giving me right now with those names.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna have to think about that. Like adipose. What a weird weird thing.
Either way, we'll figure out a name either during this or, like later. But
Yeah,
I'm Kreat-Like-Crete,
yeah, and I'm AbsolonAnonymous.
and we're just here doodling two very different pictures.
Yeah, I don't know what are you drawing, man?
What
What are you drawing?
I'm drawing a picture. Well, I'm actually lining
You're
lining
lining it.
a picture that I drew. I want to say either beginning or middle of 2017 or early 2018, because I remember having this in like a big ass sketchbook. But I also drew this when I had my job that wasn't heart monitors, because I remember I drew this while I took a break, and I was like, I should line this, and then I
Yeah,
never did. But
yeah, I kind of get that. I sometimes say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna draw this today, and I don't do that.
yeah, it sucks, but
It does suck.
uh, yeah. So you're finishing up that little trifecta of fitness girls that you've been doing.
Oh, it's this is like I've only finished like 1/3 of it. This is the second gal I've only started on.
Who's the second gal?
It's you ever watch Ruby? It's,
Yeah.
that the girl from that show that has the big fighty gauntlets things.
Oh, it's Yang.
It's young.
It's Young Lee.
It's young, maybe a little bit too young. Where the FBI at?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, she's like
No,
she's like
she's 18, I thought.
I don't know.
Allow me to
Fucking know.
consult the wiki so that we aren't. So that
We aren't
breaking
committing
crimes.
pedophilia.
Yeah, we aren't committing crimes.
We're not committing the crimes.
I love how the first thing that comes up for Yang Ruby is age.
She is
17. It says 17.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, I mean, you aren't drawing her or doing anything lewd. She's just fat.
She's doing the sit-ups.
Yeah.
And besides, I could just say that she's 18.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, like...
Depicted as 18.
And I think there's like a significant amount of time that goes like through the show, so maybe she turns 18 by like that little time skip.
I think
Goes
so.
on, so.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, just because. Yeah, it's always been a weird. It's always been a weird stigma or a weird. A weird. How do I even want to say it? I guess I'll use stigma, but it's funny that drawing a character as fat implies that it's for sexual purposes.
I mean,
I know a majority of them is, but I'm just saying I find it funny that they could just be standing there, like, doing nothing, and just like, oh, I just decided to draw this character as fat because it's funny.
oh my god, call the FBI, get him in jail.
Yeah. And then everyone comes on the comments and they say, oh my god, you're jacking off right now. So I'm like, no, I'm not. I just thought it was funny.
It's funny. But I mean, but anyways, enough of that. This is the pile of degeneracy. This is the Degeneracy corner. We can use that as a name.
Just call it like, I don't know. I was trying to think of something, but
Kreat and Absalon draw fat women on unrecorded
Kreat and Absalon
unrecorded videos.
Kreat and Absalon suck at drawing, volume 1.
I mean, if we called it that, we're gonna get a bunch of people in the comments like, "Wait a minute, you don't seem to suck it, right? What, you think you're better than me?"
Yeah, actually I do.
And then, and then they stop following.
Yeah, well, I mean, all right, but
hey, who cares? Nobody watches this show anyways.
Yeah. Alright, stream's over. Bye, everybody.
That's it, stream's over. But yeah, you do anything interesting? Kreat?
Well, considering my current living conditions, I don't have the funds or the gall to go anywhere. So mostly,
yeah, that's right.
Mostly all I do anyway is just sit at home and draw stuff, or just send out resumes to places, or just think like, you know what, fuck the resumes, fuck all this. I'm just gonna go ham boning on the comic work and make like a little website of my own. And just go at it, because I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna waste all that time doing that, it's like, yeah, well, might as well. Got a following, even though a lot of the following couldn't give a shit about comic work, but
yeah,
I still have I have 2,700 people watching my deviant fart, and
deviant farts,
and even if like 100, or even if like 10% of that, which is over 200 people, are interested, even if the 10% of them, there's still 10% of them want to see it, so it's still at least 200 some people. Like that's still a decent number.
Right.
So I'm like lowballing it though to like 10%, because I would assume that they're not all brain dead 13-year-olds who shouldn't even be looking at stuff like this on the internet yet. But
hey, that's not gonna stop anybody. You know that.
Yeah. Disclaimer: I don't know the age of my fans. That's for them.
That's for the best. Probably shouldn't know the age of your fans.
Probably don't want to either.
No, you do not. Because either you get maybe like kids who are too young or people who are too old.
Yes, I fought in the Vietnam War, and the entire time I was only imagining that amidst the smell of napalm and dead bodies, what's Bulma from Dragon Ball Z would look like if her tits were bigger than her butt. That's what I thought in the trenches.
No offense to any vets out there who are actually, you know, are watching this trash.
If you just happen to be.
Yeah, if you just happen to be, don't take offense.
I respect your service, and thank you.
Much thank you. Very thanks.
Hey.
I have a family who is in the military, so
as do I.
Big thanks. Very respectful to your services. But anyways, back to the whatever the hell's going on here.
It's literally nothing except you and I
just talking about dumb stuff.
Being goobers and drawing goobers.
Yeah, that stuff.
See, I'm with Ryan, dude.
I hate you.
This just it? This just our friendship?
This is our friendship. I just tell him that he's a dumbass, and he's like, yeah, I am. What are you gonna do about it? And I say, I'm just gonna be smart. I don't know what I'm just gonna put all my my dedication into having an IQ that's higher than yours.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be smarter than you.
I'm just gonna be not as dumb as you.
Joke's on you, I'm dumb.
Oh my god. I was just pretending to be retarded.
It's like the classic comic, just jokes on them. I was only pretending to be retarded.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, look, I'm retarded. Get out of here, retard. Joke's on them, I was pretending.
Oh my god.
It's incredible how timeless some things on the internet have become. Because that's one of them, honestly. Like, every time that's posted, I laugh at it. Which is interesting, because I don't think... Do you think that nowadays there can be, like, classics? Do you think a classic can be made anymore? Or do you think that...
classic?
Like in the sense of, you know, how all the classic movies or songs or anything like that. Do you think that we're just sort of past that in entertainment? I know that's a bit of a weird question, but... it's just part of me thinks that... I don't know, it just seems the stuff that is currently coming out, at least to my understanding, a lot of the stuff that's coming out now doesn't seem like it's going to have very much lastability, because a lot of things are just made for now.
Yeah, it's just that mindset, you know, but honestly, I don't think that we've hit that, you know, that peak yet. The human mind is a very expansive sort of idea creator. We can't just limit it to maybe just a couple ideas here and there. Gotta have faith in people, good directors.
Well, it's not the fact that I think that like new ideas aren't being made, because I think there's...
Yeah, you say that they're only quick cash grabs that are made for in the moment.
Not even that. I'm just saying the absolute breakneck pace that things are consumed and then, you know, consumed and experienced nowadays in terms of social media or just with entertainment in general. Because hell, we saw last year how many memes like went up and down, and I know it's kind of funny that I'm attributing or, you know, using memes as the blanket statement or the blanket example for this, but last year with the rise of how memes were coming up and down, that like some memes were lasting barely a day, so it almost makes me think like some of the stuff that we have now won't just straight up won't be remembered, because people just sort of think things die out much faster now because of how quickly we can experience them and sort of oversaturate ourselves with them.
Well, I mean, in this day and age where everything is away, like there's no distance between us with the click of a button or just opening up Google or something like that. I still think that people are gonna make dumb stuff up no matter how, like, where they are or how long it takes. You know, like, you say that memes are gonna go up and die down again. It's gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening. People are gonna keep making memes until the day the internet crashes. Doesn't matter what it's gonna be on. I don't really think the thing that changes is sort of like the human mindset, kind of like that kind of stuff. It sound too spiritual.
Repeat that again, because you became...
did I cut out?
You became a robot for a second. It's the human experience.
Basically summarizing is that people make more stuff I don't think that we're going to be deprived of classics. I think it's going to be a lot harder to make one nowadays, because you're right, a lot of like movies and songs and stuff have been made to a point where they become tropes. But no, I do not think that we've reached the sort of end of the classical, you know, sort of experience that people can make classics anymore. Even if, like, even if we're in an age where anything can be heard across the globe in a matter of seconds to hours.
That's a better observation for it, because I mean, I was just thinking, because I've had that thought recently where I just said, man, shit just gets thrown in and out of the eye so fast that it's almost like we can't just sit and gestate on it, because even though it's funny that we can just pull up any information about pretty much whatever we want at the click of a button, or just in a few minutes to a few seconds, you can look up your favorite clips of one of your favorite movies and say, ah, yes, a classic. But it just feels as if there's very little to gestate on anymore, or it just moves so quickly that it just doesn't allow you to taste it or sit on it. Or maybe that's just me, and I maybe haven't dipped my foot into the artsy pool of new ideas as much as I think I have recently. That could be.
I think we all, find that lack of sort of depth. And here's the thing, everybody's going to walk around and sort of not experience everything to the fullest. It's just not possible. We can't experience everything in our short lives, not to be an existential sort of like jerk off or anything, but basically we're not going to be here forever, and it's not possible to read every history book in the library or read every like classical novel. You could try, and you could read a lot of them, but you can't read every book in human history. You can't experience every film or every single piece of media ever created. It's just not possible. Which is why classics exist in the first place. They're those standout movies that exist to say, hey, do you want to know how mannerisms happened in this certain period? You want to know the message, what people were thinking back then? Here, take a look at 1999's The Matrix, which I think is a really great movie. It's obviously a classic, and it actually, if you think about it, it speaks volumes of what our current situation today. Not to be one of those guys like social media controls people, but in reality, it's pretty prevalent in our society. I mean, I couldn't really think about going maybe a month without my cell phone because I need it for my, keeping my calendar, calling my family, my friends, all that stuff. Which is sort of what happened. We're all plugged into a machine, essentially.
Yeah, and I'm generally not one of those people who says, "Oh, cell phone bad," or technology bad. But in a lot of cases, it definitely could use some, at least in terms of people's use of it. It could definitely use some curbing, or it would definitely be good to educate children about the dangers of staying plugged in. Because in our current, as you said, in our current society, we have to be plugged in, and we have to.
Society.
Yeah, I know, and we live in a society. There's people in the world, but just how it's gone. Because it's not so much that people are too attached to them. It's just that everything else, it has attached to too many things. Because it keeps you in there, because everything we do is now on there. From banking to just talking to your friends, it's all online. You gotta stay in the matrix. Ugh.
Yeah.
Take the blue.
I mean, me and Kreat. Yeah, take the blue pill, man.
Take the blue
like
pill,
seriously.
Hey, take the red pill. The red pill's the way to go.
Take the blue pill. You'll remember why you're a cuck.
Hey, take the red pill. The MRA's the way to go.
Take the red pill.
But take the red pill. But yeah, I like how we're trying to or we're just trying to talk philosophy with we're fucking drawing like obese women. But anyways, to sort of wrap up that thought, we do. We can't have philosophical thoughts. We're not just slaves to our own community that we're unfortunately in. But it's just the world changes almost yearly. A new thing comes out. Maybe in the next maybe 5 to 10 years, we'll have the cure to cancer. You never know.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Then I can wash away all the people who are in my comment sections.
Oh.
Hey. It did it.
He gets a vocal comment of the stream. the award of most memorable moment, the highlights. We're gonna put in the highlights. We're gonna put a bunch of air horn sounds, and it's gonna be great.
A hit marker on my comment section. Just post.
Yeah, hit marker.
Just a little hit marker sound effect when you click the reply button.
Yeah, it's a little hit marker sound effect. You're gonna type it in, and then you're gonna click reply, and it's gonna explode, and there's gonna be MLG signs everywhere, and it's gonna be 420. Oh boy.
So to get out of the technology is pee and people are poo poo talk.
But yeah, the whole thing is that technology is great. I mean, we are very reliant on it, but it's a big part of our current society. But we can't deny that.
I just think the only issue is that our brains, our oh so powerful and oh so tricked brains, did not evolve to have the modern stuff that we have. It just doesn't know how to healthily take it in. It's really funny that modern society. I know everyone's gonna keep memeing on no society, but for modern day living, the human brain, I do not think it did not evolve to have this luxury that it does now, with all this information and all this abundance of things, especially since the human brain is so linked to being primal. I mean, the two of us, are even adding to the most primal instinct next to eating in the human brain, and that is sex. That is a sexual or a sexual gratification, which, like I said,
Kreat, she's doing exercise. She's not doing anything sexual. Don't call the FBI.
I'm gonna call the FBI right now, and they're gonna say, "Hey, Absalon, you're a fake." And then you're gonna lose all of your Twitter followers. But
I'm gonna lose all my Twitter followers, and then they're gonna kick me off Twitter. But people have those blue verified checks.
They're gonna give you a red X, which is the opposite of a blue check mark.
Oh no!
And it's going to
the blue check mark.
Oh god, blue.
No.
Does that mean I get a gray one?
Oh yeah, that's right. Your character's gray.
Even though I'd say her color, like her color combination or color coded thing in the story would actually be red. If I had to assign a color to her, she's red, and then Laura would be blue. But that's actually funny that blue is blue and Lily would be red. So even in that case, they're both
opposites.
Even then they're still conflicting.
Yeah, it's interesting. What else should we talk about? We're talking about classics and the lack thereof. I saw that Alita.
Ooh, Alita.
Battle Angel is out. I actually hear that it's pretty good, so I'm actually probably going to see it today.
Ooh.
And I actually am familiar with Alita. I have the first volume of it here with me, and it's a pretty good read. I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're into like cyberpunk and futuristic cyborgs and all that stuff. If you're a fan of like Ghost in the Shell, it's like Ghost in the Shell and Akira mixed together with a little bit of Blade Runner.
Is it at least more existential crises delivering as Ghost in the Shell or Akira?
It isn't. It's more of like, it's not that existential. It's not gonna give you a mind aneurysm, but it will leave you with some like ethical questions with more subtle writing, which I think is pretty good, and it's more actiony. There's more action.
So what is your opinion? I know it's like the obvious meme answer, because I know you made that one picture, which I still love, where she had the big bug eyes. But what are you on? Is that your opinion on the giant eye on the giant eye design with Aelita? Do you really think it makes that much of a difference, or do you think it could have been?
Like everybody says it's so distracting, but it's just she's a robot. Like she can have big eyes. It doesn't really bother me that much. If the CG looks kind of wonky, but it doesn't. It never really bothered me. I can admit that it does look kind of weird sometimes, but I don't really see what the big deal is, to be honest.
I guess in my case, it's more of just but why? Like what's the... And it's funny, because in most cases I would say, oh man, they're just being lazy, that's just some yuck in a suit, but in this one they're actually going the extra mile and making her eyes bigger to help match the comic and make her look more like, a robot. And yeah, it's funny, because in other scenarios, I generally just get mad, with the superhero, or even, well, actually not superhero stuff, but live-action anime stuff generally being, yeah, that's just some yuck in a costume, but in the case of where I see, an animated movie, I feel like live action just does not suit anime. It's just not the storytelling and the combat and the pacing and the overall attitude and atmosphere of anime. Just I do not think can be done in live action. Maybe at least. Hey,
Kreat, did you? Sorry to butt in, but did you hear they're doing a live adaptation of One Piece on Netflix?
No, I didn't. Thank you.
You're here now, and it's gonna happen.
See it.
It's gonna happen.
You're
gonna see it. You're gonna sit down and watch it anyways, even though you know it's gonna be terrible. You're gonna.
Well, I did see it in terms of. Funny enough that you said that. Just like Baki the Grappler, which many people who don't know but now will, Baki the Grappler is one of my favorite series ever.
Wow, I couldn't tell by all the muscles.
Shut your dick, but a spiritual successor series, I guess you could say it's more of like a modern Baki the Grappler, is Kengan Asura. And I've spoken about that before on my Discord server, which, by the way, I might leave a link to my Discord server in the description below. But the Kengan Asura is a series about. It's a series about fighting, obviously, if you can tell from the fucking title. But it's actually more interesting in just a, like, oh, I want to be the champion, because there is the story of that with the main character who's just like, I just want to be the strongest person in the world, blah, 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 all that. And he is hired by a company, because this is the interesting part. There are companies around the world that hire a fighter to essentially be used as a token to gamble. So it's that companies will bet massive amounts of money and their stock and their assets on fights, and they use their own fighters as the gambling token. So yeah, it's really cool because they hold this giant world tournament to be head of the Kengan Association, which essentially owns like a part of the world's economy, and yeah, all these people enter in to possibly get a piece of the pie, and it's getting an anime adaptation, and it's coming to Netflix. The only problem is it's all CGI.
Oh no!
Not even like Berserk 2016. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but at least Berserk 2016 has some 2D animation, whereas Kengan Asura only has CGI, and that doesn't bode well.
So it's like I always wonder why they would do this. Is it because of lack of animation? Or,
I don't
maybe.
I don't know if it's a lack of animation or a lack of budget or something, because I've heard people say that 2D animation is roughly the same as doing like good 2D animation and good 3D animation have roughly the same budget, but I guess that 3D animation is just easier.
I guess. I mean, I wouldn't know. I do. I have done animation in the past, and it is very time consuming. I once spent 8 hours doing 5 seconds of animation. But, yeah. I can see why they would choose to do 3D. But, like I'll stand by this. You don't... I think it's sort of lazy.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think that might be a little controversial to say like, oh, you don't want to draw like the same character over and over and over again, frame by frame. How dare you? You're fucking lazy. But I think that didn't stop people when this technology wasn't a thing. And I've always like there are exceptions. Spider-Verse was a good movie, but I always like 2D better than 3D.
I will always, and speaking, I guess it goes back to the whole classic bit,
Yeah.
where I am totally convinced. Well, actually, no, I'm not totally convinced, but good 2D animation doesn't age. Like the old Disney movies and whatnot, or even old anime movies, when they're all 2D animated, they could have been made back in 1970 or some shit. But good 2D animation has an ageless quality to it. Like Bambi came out, I think, 70 years ago, and it still looks
Pinocchio.
It still looks great.
Yeah, like all these classic movies that they just don't get worse. They like the CGI isn't dated because all this computer animation stuff, it just keeps on getting better. But then consequence stuff that isn't really that was considered like groundbreaking at the time will eventually become, dated. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and that's the funny bit, because you know how I'm pretty sure everyone remembers this, but at least those of us old enough to remember, when Wind Waker came out, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, people, after having Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask come out, and for the time, were super realistic and, highly detailed games, focusing on that really big presentation, having this really realistic looking open world for the time period. And then when they had their next console come out, the GameCube, which they were saying was so powerful and massive graphical capabilities. And when that was coming out, people were like, oh my god, the next Zelda game is going to be all super detailed and, uber realistic, because they're pushing all this great shit about this happening. And, Resident Evil 4 came out on the GameCube, and that looked pretty damn good, even on the GameCube. But the interesting bit was when they showed a trailer for the next Zelda game, which was just a demo. It showed Ganon and Link having a very cool sword battle, which is also the first appearance of Ganondorf's axe sword.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And everyone was going crazy because they were thinking like, "Oh wow, there's gonna be a super realistic, Zelda, and it's gonna be great." And then the next news of Zelda was the Wind Waker, which had a very cartoony and cel-shaded art style, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's stupid, it's for kids." But it's funny because I know I've said it's funny over and over again, but the ironic bit is that Twilight Princess, which is the highest detailed Zelda to date in terms of graphical presentation, looks the worst on review, because everything just kind of looks awkward and unshapen and just kind of gross. But on review, not Majora's Mask, the Wind Waker, it looks like it could have come out last year.
Yes.
It just had a very fun art style that just stayed the same. Why do you think South Park, which if we're going by objective quality, has a horrible art style because it's just simple shapes, but they haven't changed it ever since the first season because it works and people like it, and it's a relatively timeless art style because it's something you can remember.
Yeah, I think I was listening to that once in a class, talking about why logos are so memorable. They follow 5 traits. I can't remember all 5, but I do remember one that stood out to me was simple. And yeah, if you try to to get closest to realism as you can, I doubt that you'll be able to stand up like 15 years down the line when someone has the technology to do it better.
Yep.
If you can, however, do something that's simpler, like you're saying, the Wind Waker, which I have never played, unfortunately. I never had that privilege. But when you sort of have a style like that that's not really too detailed, but it's got that sort of like emulation of just like a cartoony style where Twilight Princess was trying to emulate like the highest degree of like detail and all that stuff. It looks funky after a while. Yeah, it just looks weird sometimes.
Because I know we've discussed that before. I don't remember what episode of the Fattycast, but I know we've discussed the not the implications, but the idea that a super realistic and detail-oriented style is great. Like if you can pull that off, fantastic. You've reached a level of artistic ability that few can rival. But I also say that like it's like drawing portraits, because as I would say it, like I said, we remember South Park and Family Guy because they're just so ingrained in the media, but also everyone I'm pretty sure knows what Peter Griffin looks like, or Eric Cartman, because they just have very simple, easy to understand and easy to remember designs. There's nothing cryptic or busy about them. Just very simple shapes with easy to remember faces and personalities. So, like drawing portraits, I mean, I can remember most of the times when I went on vacation, I would just see people drawing high detailed portraits of people on the street. And I mean, if you can just do that, if you can just get to the point where you can just draw super realistic stuff, you almost fall into that weird bell curve, where everyone's in the middle, sort of how like really bad artists all look alike and really, really good artists all look alike, if that makes sense, because I know that's like a kind of a hot take, but yeah, I think that there is like a bell curve to this, or not even a bell curve, it's just this weird filing of things where, like I said, the bad artists, like we're talking really bad, don't know what the hell they're doing, all that, like a really bad artist's version of a stickman will look just like another really bad artist's version of a stickman,
Yep.
Just like one super detailed artist's depiction of, let's say, I don't know, Mercy from Overwatch.
Oh boy, we'll go with the basic bitches now.
Yeah, but I'm saying one really super detailed artist's version of Mercy will look just like another super detailed artist's version of Mercy. Or it doesn't have to be Mercy, fucking Superman. Someone's gonna draw Superman super detailed, super highly detailed. It pretty much will look the same as someone else's. But two unique art styles will look completely different, because that's just the nature of them being unique. And yeah, I know we've said it before on the podcast, and we'll probably say it a billion more times just because everyone should remember it, but go for uniqueness. I mean, practice the basics and get their fundamentals down, because that's just how art works. But if you want to really make yourself known or make yourself different, see what you like to do and then put your own twist to it, or see what you like to look at and then put your own twist to it. If that's super detailed art and you want to make super detailed art, Godspeed, you bastard. And I hope you do perfectly well with that, because that takes a whole realm of talent too. But I'd rather say, yeah, definitely go for unique over just really, really good.
Remember, kids, all good art is luck based.
Oh shit! Don't. Should we call that? Should we refer to that as these streams? The art is luck based streams.
What do you mean?
Art is luck based. Just I need to we need to.
Oh yeah, shit! Fuck yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah, art is luck based.
Art is luck based.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a good idea. I like that.
Does it roll off the tongue though? Like art is luck based streams.
Luck based art.
Art is
called luck based.
Luck based.
With created Absalon.
Art is Luck Based by Kreat with Kreat and Absalon.
It's an inside joke.
Yeah.
For those who aren't aware.
Yeah, we won't be revealing the creator of the joke, but it's an inside joke that someone posted a meme that we became privy to, and it just simply said art. It was that you know, the whole change my mind template.
I mean, with Steven Crowder.
Steven Crowder, and it just showed it was just art is luck based. Change my mind. Or I think it might have even been like, you can't change my mind, just to like add a little bit more snippet of saltiness to it.
Yeah, it was like something like that.
It was just funny that, and it got passed around my server for yeah, it got passed around the server for like a week.
Yeah. Until this day, we still have the occasional little toss in of, hey, you remember that?
Hey, art is luck based.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, art is luck based, dude. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, the 10+ years of time I spent drawing, no, that was just genetics, man. I got lucky.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky you had the time to do it.
Yeah, I'm lucky I had the time to sit down every day amidst all my projects and homework and sketch a little bit. What a lazy man I am, not taking into account those who can't draw. But no malice towards the main person who made this.
Yeah.
Or came up with that joke.
It's just funny to quote.
It's just, yeah, it is funny to quote. It's not like just because of, oh, I just want to call you out and make you feel bad. It's more just like, it's just a funny thing to think about, you know? It's like, all this effort I put into getting better at art. Nah, it's just luck, man.
Yeah, that's something I've really, the funny thing is, ever since that meme appeared, and you know, our little bit of discourse and you know, joking around with it, it has become a theme in Small's Fighter, where you know, oh, you're lucky, you're just born to be good at this, and you know, it really makes Laura question, like, why? Like, am I really like good at all? Am I valid in being good at this just because I got lucky that I have the big muscle? But yeah, the thing is that I know a lot of people really like to, you know, be cynical and shit on people who have, you know, had things better off. But the thing is like this. I'll even take myself for example. You know, like, I'll straight up admit, I was built and born very athletic. Like, I just, pretty much any sport I cared to play came easy for me. And I was very lazy with training and all that, just because I was a lazy kid. But I still would match up to, just out of sheer natural talent for sports or, you know, athletics. Anything I really wished to when I was younger. And I just fucking hated sports. And you could say that, yeah, I got lucky and I was given good genetics to build muscle and, you know, be strong and all that. Just straight up naturally. But the thing is, I didn't want to play sports. So would you say that would you still say I'm lucky even though I was gifted something that I technically didn't want? Or didn't want to use? Like, would you say that to someone who, you know, they don't have to use the gift they were given. They don't have to use because that's their choice. Because someone could be naturally gifted at art and say, like, I just don't want to do art. I just don't like it. Or
yeah, I mean, I'm not denying that being good at something naturally doesn't exist. Of course it does. But even me, I mean, I didn't grow. I wasn't, to quote Aaron Hansen, I didn't drop out of the pussy drawing Mozart. I know how much you love Aaron Hansen though, but that's a topic for another episode. Anyways, I always like to think that my drawing was 90% practice and 10% talent. You can have an interest in art, like I'm dedicated to stick with it. I never quit when it got tough. but I didn't start out drawing so well. Just like 4 to 5 years ago, my art was considerably worse, and it'll only continue to get better.
Because you met me.
Just like just because I love to do it. It doesn't feel like a chore to sit down, turn my computer on, get my tablet, and start drawing. It just feels good. It's a pastime. I can sit down and listen to a maybe like 6-hour long audiobook, and I'll just keep on drawing the entire time. Maybe even longer if I wanted to. It just doesn't feel like I'm wasting time. But to get back to what you were saying, Kreat, about like natural talents, like if you didn't want it, then would you tell someone like, oh, but my talent, I don't like it. And it's like, but I'm still better than you. But here's the thing. I've also been gifted with I'm very tall for, my age, and I have a very big shoulder build. But here's the thing. I'm not very athletic. Well, I am athletic, but I just choose not to be. Just like you said, I was lazy. I'd rather sit on a desk and maybe knock out a drawing that would take me 8 hours to do. I'd rather do it in one day than go for a 20-minute jog. I'm not fat. I'm just, I'm in decent shape because I've been keeping up with my exercise. But I was with my friend the other day, and he is, he's shorter than me, and he's got an amazing build because he goes and he does exercise all the time. And I was like, he was talking about how he could beat everybody arm wrestling, right? And I'm like, I'm not weak either. I have pretty decent muscles. I'm like, yeah, I'll go up against you. So I sit down with him. He's like, yeah, okay, you're going to lose. I'm like, yeah, probably. But I'm probably not going to lose that easily. He creams me in 4 seconds. Just I'm strong. I'm not going to say that I'm not, and that's not bragging. I can do decently heavy tasks without much trouble. But it's just there's just a point where natural talent doesn't hold up anymore. Natural, being gifted. If I were to sit down and lift maybe weights all day, maybe I could beat him. But there's a point where it's you have muscles, but if you don't use them or if you don't do anything with them, you're not going to improve. You're just going to stay stagnant. And getting cream like that is pretty humbling. Well, to be honest.
Not only that, but eating the humble pie to actually taste good. The thing is that humble pie has a better aftertaste than it does on the first bite. But I should write that down. But the thing is, the thing with that is what I was sort of getting at was, just because someone has natural talent at something does not mean you can also get to that level. It may take longer. It may take much longer. But the fact that you want to get there should be the inspiration and the reason that you want to do it. That you want to get to that level. Not just I'm just going to beat him because... I'm just going to tell this to everybody, and I've told it to other friends who say, I want to get good as my favorite artist someday. Don't shoot for that, because you will never be as good as them, because they are them and you are you. You can just be a good copy of them, but you're not going to be better than them because you're trying to do something they are naturally doing. You are trying to force yourself into doing something that they are doing naturally. So, don't want to be your favorite artist. Be like your favorite artist.
Hey, Kreat. We should try to convince G to come on here.
Oh, that'd be great. Just have him as a guest star. We can get a lot of people on this.
We could get a lot of people on this. I've been talking to the American Dream recently. Chill, dude.
He's said he liked my stuff before, and I've spoken to him very little, but I kind of want to change that. I kind of want to start networking again, just talking to more dudes.
Yeah, talking to more dudes who got the good art style. Here's the thing, you just sit down and you look at all these people who have all these art styles that are different, right? And you're like, how did they get so good at what they do? It's like they just sat down and they did it. 6 hours a day. Maybe it wasn't 6 hours every day. Maybe they just, for 15 minutes, did a quick sketch and then they called it a day. They did something important. The thing about art is, it's the beautiful thing about it, really. You don't need to sit down and dedicate yourself to it. Forcing yourself most of the time. Most of the time, you just want to do it. You'll just sit down and you like be like, hey, I want to do this. And then you do. And that's it. That's how it works. It's not like, yeah, it's done. Unless, you know, you're doing like a giant project and it's like every page is a victory.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me.
Oh yeah, right. I am telling you. I'm also on my my little pet projects too. Quite the achievement, to be honest. Just like to maybe publish a book and see it on a Barnes and Noble shelf.
I think just what will probably seal the deal for me, where I'll be like, yes, I did it, will be two things. There's two things that'll keep me in that. And number one, we'll probably see like holding a hard copy or a physical copy of something I made in my hands like that. And number two would be someone like I still think one of the highest honors that someone can give you, like despite their rank, despite their position in life, the highest rank that someone can give you of, you know, like importance of your work is someone saying like, you brought me out of a dark place. Like someone just saying those words, like your stuff helped me get through like rough times. I still think that is one of the highest honors someone can bestow upon you for the work you do. And just the moment I get that compliment, I'll be like, I did it. And I anything could happen to me from here on, but I fucking did it.
Yeah. But don't take that as like a therapy session. If you actually have problems, go see.
That's
just a quick
yeah. That's not what I was getting at. I'm saying like some people say like I was having like a really rough time, but then, you know, like I remember the writing or I remember the struggles of a character, because I think you might have posted or someone posted it in the server, and it was like a man survived, I don't know, like some sort of operation or something because he channeled Vegeta.
Probably wasn't me. Probably somebody else.
I want to say it was like some Brazilian man. Or I saw it somewhere, but it was like some Brazilian man was like had like this massive wound on him or something, and all that. But he survived in the hospital and had it all taken out, even though all the doctors were pretty sure he was going to die. But then he lived it and survived, and I think I remember him saying like, I channeled Vegeta. I was like,
wow.
Holy shit. I wanna have people channel stuff I make to save their lives. It's like indirect causality, but that was cool to read about. Or some people say like when talking about not even just like Dragon Ball Z characters, but just any character that they find, you know, honorable or worth mentioning, they channel that through them to help them get through tough times, because it helps people. It brings them up, as we read stories to bring ourselves up.
Yeah. I recently watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, for the first time. I know Harris, I had not watched it before, but I was young, and I was like, you know, this kind of sounds lame, because I was like comparing it to the Star Wars trilogy, and it's like, there's a laser sword. It's like, probably can't be that good. Oh, how wrong I was. Good shit. Good shit.
It's good shit.
J.R.R. Tolkien, you are a master of literature. People remember you for ages.
I mean, he literally he restructured and redefined the idea of high fantasy by writing Lord of the Rings. The man changed the genre.
For the better.
It took him 25 years to write all of Lord of the Rings. 25 years.
It was worth it. Worth it. Do you think it's going to take that long for us to write our stories?
So yeah, my stuff is not, because that includes like that's thousands of pages, and he created his own language.
Yeah, he created his own language. He made all this lore for all these races.
The
It's like
Silmarillion has,
well,
I think, like,
what a lad.
I want to say that the Silmarillion has like, I want to say like over 30 or 40 named characters in it. In just one of them.
Damn.
He has there's a lot of shit that happens. But
yeah.
The thing is that yeah, funny enough, whenever anyone says mithril, that is actually Elvish. You're actually speaking Elvish with that because it just means silver in Elvish.
Mithril. Yeah. Man, I think I want to get into a D&D campaign. I actually have for speaking of like Star Wars and that kind of stuff. I think playing. You ever heard of Age of Empires?
Age of Empires?
Star Wars Age of the Yeah, no, not Age of Empires. The type of Star Wars like D&D. It's called the Star Wars Edge of the Empire. It is pretty good. It's the fun thing about it is that it's based on narrative rather than like critical roles or anything, which has like good sides and downsides. But for the most part, it's really interesting how what takes it can turn, because you could do all like this cool shit if there's a bunch of these weird dice that you have to throw, and I'm not going to bore you with the explanation because it would take me at least 20 to 30 minutes. But basically, depending on the situation or circumstance you find yourself in, you get either a good die to boost your roll, or you get a bad die to boost your roll, depending on your skills or whatever. And if you happen to get these certain amount of circumstances from rolling the dice, you could pull off the most bullshit, like crazy stuff. Like the other day, I was flying a ship and we were like escaping from these three fighter pilots who were like shooting at us, and we were like at critical damage or something. And so I try to gun the engine, and the engine sputters. So what I do is I use the falling momentum to sort of swing our ship around and swat one of them out of the sky like a baseball bat. That you can do that. Like that's how fun it is. It's really
that's my
fun.
favorite thing. And anyone who hates on Dungeons and Dragons or like shits on it, generally hasn't played it before. Because most people I know who have played Dungeons and Dragons generally all say, or anything akin to Dungeons and Dragons, all have pretty much said like, yeah, it's great. It's a great time, especially if you have the right people to play with, or you're just surrounded by your friends. Because it's pretty much you guys all just just going on some stupid adventure and doing stupid silly shit. And taking literally hours to fight one thing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Dragon fights, if you play by the actual rules of D&D, like dragon fights, even if you don't play by actual rules, but yeah, dragons can take like actual hours to fight.
Yeah, it would make sense.
But I would absolutely love to. Play Dungeons and Dragons with you guys. I've honestly thought about starting up a campaign with the server, just like everyone makes their own character and we do it. I've thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't be opposed to it, to be honest. I can do that.
Do we just use all of our characters as the main characters? That's actually one of the main things why I'd want to do it. We just get to use our characters as it.
That'd be funny.
So we could just it's like we can sort of
as much as I want to like make my own, I also wouldn't be opposed to
because
doing
I
that.
just think it would be funny because at least for Lily and Blue's case, it would help for like interactions, and also in a way character development, because you would go on these in these weird situations and you'd sort of have to think as them, and it would help you develop them and think of methods of their personality or their character. I think we just help kill two birds with one stone and be fun at the same time.
And then beat up each other.
Yeah, and there would always be like every turn they would have to fight.
Yeah, they have to fight. Like it's a long drawn out, like 2 battle every turn.
Literally on literally on any decision they have to fight.
Yeah, they have to fight.
I want to.
It's like we turn left. No, right. I want butter on my waffles. You want butter on your waffles? Syrup on my waffles? Fuck you.
I was about to say, it was like, alright guys, let's head left. I think we should go right. Lily, there is literally no right. Yeah, let's make one. No, Lily, there's only left.
I don't care. I'm gonna go right. She literally just walks through the wall. Like it just bends and distorts around her.
Like the SpongeBob thing where he's through the wall.
Yeah, it's like bends the metal, just walks through it. Yeah. Squidward! Squidward! What if you're just walking through like abandoned hallway, and then you just hear.
Talk about that. Just
this is fucking. It's like Squidward just running up behind you.
Where'd you go?
I mean, just like you just picture just a 2D image of like a 2D GIF of Squidward, but he's running straight at you, but he was also taken for a clip where he's running like sort of like diagonal to the camera, so it's like he's running diagonally, but he's also running like forward at the same time.
I was gonna say it'd be the one.
I was gonna
say it'd be the one where it was like in just one bite where he buries the patty and then SpongeBob goes back into the Krusty Krab, and then he's like, I gotta go find the sandwich, and he starts running and his tongue's hanging out, but he's in the profile view, so you just use that, and he's running straight towards the camera. So it's that.
His like profile view is running straight towards the camera.
With the tongue hanging out, his giant fish eyes, his giant.
Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah. Oh my god. I found it. Yeah, it's funny. But I think we can remember that SpongeBob is a very iconic show for just all of us. I grew up with SpongeBob.
I think. See, the funny thing is, even kids who it's survived so long as a show that I don't think there's any generation that currently. Well, I mean, besides like the old people, but I think any current modern generation, I do not think any child does not know who SpongeBob SquarePants is.
I don't think it would be possible.
Pretty sure I don't think there's like a single kid under the sun who doesn't know who SpongeBob SquarePants is.
It's just one of those shows, it's like you can't not know it.
It's been around for so long.
Oh, yeah. By the way. Do something you. Just see that running. Right at you.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. That's for the stream. Just take
running right at you.
Taking that, but it's just coming directly towards you. Just let's make a Slender game or like an SCP game, and that's the scary part. We just hear, and then you just hear him like when we use like a really shitty like dot wave of Squirtle.
Yeah, that.
As he comes towards you.
Yeah. That's oh my god, that's funny. Hey, let's talk about Smash Brothers.
Dude, Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is a fun game.
Oh man, what do you think of Ultimate? What are your thoughts?
Ultimate's the best Smash game. Like, period. It is the best made Smash game. Like anyone who denies that is just lying to themselves.
This is a Melee fan.
I am a Melee fan. I mean, Melee is still de facto my most like my most preferred one to play, just because I play it so much, and just pulling off combos in that just feel so much fun. They're so good. It just all feels meaty and weighted, and it's just fun. It's a fun game.
Plus the parry, like if you get like the fucking parry, man, it's so satisfying. Like you parry a smash attack and follow it up with like a death combo.
Yeah, just
those are always
the
great.
only thing with me is yeah, I think Ultimate is de facto the best made Smash game because it just has pretty much everything. The only thing it doesn't have is like, I know World of actually people are slowly figuring out how to finagle it to make wave dashing plausible. Like certain characters only can wave dash, and even when the ones who can, it's negligible how much of a difference it makes. But
right, wasn't the whole thing was like if you have a Z grab, you?
I think so, because I know Isabelle could do something similar to it, but
right.
The thing was, the only thing it doesn't have is Stadium Mode, or anything like Subspace Emissary. World of Light's fine, but I just wish there were more cutscenes. I just want to see if I can do something stupid again, just so we could have years and years of more stupid memes of him, like
killing a bunch of Pikmin out of nowhere. He just slides through all those Pikmin like in Subspace Emissary, and he just kills them all. And Olimar's like, dude, what the fuck?
Two things in that are my absolute favorite. The Falcon. So when Falcon is coming towards the screen, or he's like driving in the Blue Falcon, and he jumps out and punches the giant Rob bot. He's actually like. He's not even, like leaning forward in like a ready position with hands on the controls or anything. He's leaning back in his seat. And then when the cockpit opens, that's when he leaps out. He goes from a full-on like chilling back, hands crossed on the seat, to leaping out and then punching it in the face.
Yeah.
Number two, when he does land and slides through all the Pikmin, if you notice the cut between when he slides through all the Pikmin die, and then the behind shot with Olimar and the red Pikmin, and they're just looking at him sort of in disbelief, you'll actually notice that Falcon's pose changes, which tells me that Falcon was slightly off balance in that pose, and he had to he had to change his stance to make sure he kept his cool pose. So he's just like, shit. Just
shit.
And he just moves to the forward one, nailed it.
But what was oh yeah, we can't forgive that Falcon was F tier in Brawl. Unforgivable.
I have seen people play as him in professional play. It looked really bad because every trade they had was a negative return.
Yeah.
Because all Falcon's hitboxes were in his hurt box. No one was paying attention in that game. No one was paying attention in the development of Brawl, dude.
They were, but they're like, what if we made this character worse?
Yeah, see.
What if we made the game mechanics a little bit more slow?
What if we just forgot how to make video games for just for a month?
But hey, they didn't forget how to make those bombing ass cutscenes.
No, those were all high quality and are still fun to watch on replay.
Yeah, I'm watching the fucking Captain Falcon punches Rob in the face one.
Just to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's sitting back and he's like, "Boosh!" and then he punches the thing in the face.
The thing was, if we did an Island Dubs Subspace Emissary.
That would be fun.
Dubs.
He's like, how do we oh, it's like the fucking Sonic Adventure 2 where it's like, I'm pissing on the moon.
I'll be Falcon.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, you can be Ganon.
I'm gonna shoot the laser and I'm gonna kill him now. I'm gonna kill
Bowser
him.
comes out with the Ganon on the giant subspace cannon. Just like, Bowser, Ganon, we should fire the giant laser.
I agree. I agree with you, finally.
Fire,
And he like flicks his
fire
cape.
the laser.
And he like fucking Ganon Muppet. I always think that when you do that voice, you sound like Kermit the Frog, but it's just like Ganondorf, but they just pasted like Kermit's face on and gave him like the complexion, like I'm thinking like Twilight Princess Ganondorf with the fucking beard, but you just look at his face and it's just Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, hello.
Hey kids,
I'm gonna break all your spines.
I'm gonna break out your spine, gonna rip out your urethras. I'm gonna make you discover with your urethra.
I'm gonna show you how thick my finger is using your urethra.
Oh my god. Oh wow. What a fun time we're having here.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny.
The
Oh man.
Woods is about the Kokiri Kuds.
Oh my god.
They survive?
I killed a lot of people. Everybody's like,
Help, this is a legitimate cry for help. I can't stop killing people.
I have a mental problem. It gives me sexual gratification to rip someone's head off.
I can't stop myself, and I just would like for someone to just kill me, please. Release me from this torment.
And he just warlock punches like a woman.
Yeah. What if it was just replaced with like someone just going like, just like the weakest like.
What if you just replaced all of Ganondorf's sound clips, and then he does he's the warlock punch. It's like,
because in our 20XX melee mod that exists, which is just like the training thing, but you can edit some things in it, like music files, or you can give characters like specific skins, like Power Ranger skins or shit, like for Falcon.
Right.
My friend did it where he replaced Ganondorf's warlock punch sound, which was just the that one, and he replaced that with because it fit perfectly. He replaced it with smoke weed every day. It was just perfectly timed. It was just smoke weed every day, and like as soon as it said that's when the punch happened. Just smoke weed every day. It was great.
Oh man, that sounds fun.
All the time.
I think what if you got I think I should clarify. Well, say Kermit just punches a woman. I was gonna say a pregnant woman, but I thought that would be a little bit too much.
What if he punched a pregnant, stupid fucking woman?
No, you just punch a pregnant woman. The baby shoots out. It's like get some more.
I'm just imagining the thing is I was assuming that I'm assuming that you meant she was on the bed. But I'm assuming she's just walking down the street, so he just punches her, and the kid just rockets out to straight into the concrete.
Oh god!
Spikes the kid.
It's like hard. And he's like,
and then
it's already critical 300 HP.
He just takes out this his giant axe sword and spins it around. So
I remember there's a legacy mod. I actually don't condone violence against women. Don't quote me on that. But anyways, I just remember playing the modded version Brawl, where it's Super Smash Brothers Legacy. And they have Mage Ganondorf, which is a broken ass version of Ganondorf. It's like Ganondorf, but if he was actually, a wizard, Like he can fly and like throw energy balls and shit. He's like last boss. It's like fighting Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time, like the last boss where he's like throwing energy balls and stuff. And he has a taunt, which is a straight like 7-second clip of him just like laughing. It's like it's like the funniest thing because when you it's like when you like do like the star KO or you just punch someone and you it says like game and you do that taunt. It's like game. It's like and then it cuts to it cuts to like it's like and then it like cuts to like the victory screen. It's so funny. I actually downloaded that. If you downloaded that, we could probably give that a shot, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But and then it's like, but either way, don't punch pregnant women. That's not a good idea.
Punch pregnant.
Don't punch anybody unless they deserve it. But how would you know that?
Unless they deserve it, especially if they're.
But yeah,
stupid shit.
quite the thing that happens.
I have a very. Oh god, I'm stuck in my voice. But I have a very a very long history with Smash Bros. Because I essentially paid money when I was in college to just play Smash Brothers with a bunch of people. I'm not even gonna lie about that.
How'd you pay money?
I'm saying in terms of like what college really did for me, besides networking with people.
Oh.
Well, I mean, technically, I did network with people by playing Smash Brothers, but
yeah, actually, Smash Brothers is a really good network. I went over to a friend's. They aren't even friends; they're like classmates who just happened to be in my dorm. And they were like, what are you guys playing? They're like we're playing Smash Brothers Ultimate, and I'm like, dude, let me sit down and I'll beat like the best guy there. And I did. I creamed the guy who I was playing against. Like he hit me off as he was playing Young Link, and he hit me off stage as Snake, and I charged up the forward smash as he jumped to try to spike me, and I spiked him, and everybody in the room was like, "Oh my god!" And it was the funniest thing ever.
Wait, you're talking about
like
who were you playing as? You were playing as Ganon?
I was playing as Snake, and
area,
I was fighting against the forward air as Snake, and I was fighting against some dude who was playing Young Link, cool guy, He's saying that he was pretty good. They're like, "Are you in No, I didn't have enough time. I was too busy doing that essay that was due tomorrow. But yeah, I'm not gonna flex and say that I'm a great player. I'd probably get creamed by in a tournament. I'm not bad.
I play all the time.
But just like being able to do that feels good. I could probably get my friend who creamed me in arm wrestling and restore some of my pride.
Yeah, it's really funny
but
how many people look at Smash as this measurement of ability in a way,
I mean, not just that, but any fighting game, really. I mean, it's just Smash Brothers is just the fun thing is oh my god, Mario is fighting Dog from that NES game.
Mario's fighting Peter Griffin.
Peter Griffin. You see that someone modded it to Smash Brothers as a replacement for K-Roll. Like, wow, I'm in Smash Brothers. but yeah, just Smash Brothers is just the fun party game that you can sit down and you're like, this is fun because I can play it competitively, or I can play it with my 12-year-old sister or something like that, or my 9-year-old brother who doesn't even know what how to tie his own shoes or something. He doesn't know how to use the shitter. But yeah, it's just like a fun game that you can just sit down with anybody can play. I mean, granted, you're probably going to do better if you're better at the game, but you could still turn items on or something, just play on a random stage and just have fun. That's what I did with Brawl, even though it wasn't a good game competitive wise. Well, that's debatable,
seems.
Though I still gonna say that because you're basically using the tier list as like a comparison. How good are the characters against Meta Knight? That is not jokes. Yeah, pretty much. Like, how good can these characters do against Meta Knight?
And the answer is generally poorly.
Like, come on. Yeah. But either way, yeah, Smash Brothers is just that game that you can sit down and talk to people while doing it, and it'll be fine. You know, it's a good network.
I got in with some guys who were the top ranked player. I actually teamed up with the top ranked player in my state. Shout out to 4%. But yeah, he and I were a team. And one of the jokes of Smash at the time of when I was playing was don't go out like a buster, which was pretty much saying like just don't or no, Mango, one of the best players in the world in Melee. I still say the best of all time, but he said like sometimes just go out like a buster, and that became like the meme of the Melee community for a long time. And so because both of our names were the same, we used it as a local game, like gaming. I don't know if it's elsewhere in the world. You ever hear of a Dave and Buster's?
Nope.
It's a Ohio thing, and yeah, we use that as a team name because the guy who was the best in our state, his name was Dave, and I was not as good as he was, so I took on the name of Buster.
Dave and Buster.
That was it, and people loved it.
That's pretty funny.
Though. We beat one of the guys who was ranked 33rd in the world, who was on the different team. Yeah.
Damn.
You can find footage of it on YouTube. We lost to them in the bracket, but came back to grand finals and we 6-0'd them for grand finals. We didn't lose a single game against them in the finals.
Oh my god, dude, that's
great.
crazy.
That's
funny. Great. Yeah, if we ever meet up, like we should just enter a tournament and do like doubles,
like a local bar or something, or like a local.
Yeah, like a local bar. You know, just say, hey, $5 to I bet you $5 that we could beat you.
Oof, hustling.
We're gonna put our Smash skills to the test against drunk people. We'll make sure they're extra drunk so that they'll lose.
The thing is, though, I did win an ultimate tournament at a bar not too long ago.
Really?
And I won a
$20
gift card to it, and it was good because I was like, oh wow, I peed.
And
I peed on the floor.
You're like, oh my god, you're getting the urine on the controllers. What the fuck,
that's how I
man?
won. They were so disgusted they didn't even want to keep playing. But
it's like he's playing like at a tournament. He's like, I peed, and everybody's, oh my god. And then like some guy starts puking in like the crowd or something.
It's on camera.
Yeah, you said you were a fan of Mego. We can't be friends anymore.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh
no. Personally, I know that people are gonna like hate me for this, but I'm a big fan of Hungry Bot. That's an unpopular opinion. I just think he's like really fun to watch, and that's also a very unpopular opinion. He does like the whole thing where he camps out the opponent before resting them.
You do have to admit, I mean, it's a working strategy.
It works.
One of the top-ranked players in the world.
I mean, he was the top-ranked player in the world for a brief period. He was number one. He was number one. He did it with Jigglypuff.
I mean, Jigglypuff is also one of the best characters in Melee. But
yeah, because he made it.
Yeah.
So who was going to touch Jigglypuff?
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're lying. Like you're definitely right.
Okay. I know I'm right. Fuck you. I know what I am. I know what I am.
I have my rights.
But I have my rights. I'm a citizen of the Constitution.
And I just peed on the couch.
You see, you gonna cry, maybe piss your pants, maybe.
You cry.
Maybe shit and cum.
That's my favorite part. I just love that. Just like, you cry, maybe shit and cum.
You see, like, there's just a meme that goes around that doing dub overs of random characters doing that, and it's like, oh my god, it's that meme from that meme. You know, that character he's saying that funny thing. It's Hank Hill, and he's telling you to shit and cum.
Bobby, you're gonna shit and cum.
Bobby, you're gonna shit and cum.
Bobby, you're gonna shit yourself.
Oh my god. But yeah. Aside from Smash Brothers, it's just like, it's just a fun game. Not just to play and win. It's just to do all this, like, it's just the childhood nostalgia of being able to play as Mario, fighting a Pikachu, fighting a fucking Pokemon. Like, Sonic and the, like, well, don't get me wrong, Mario and Sonic are games, best games ever made, but, like, come on, how could you deny that, I'm being sarcastic, by the way, how could you deny that, like, playing Mario versus Sonic, beating the shit out of each other to, like, the death is, like, yeah, it's pretty fun to watch. Let me tell you what, it's like, who's gonna win?
You can't tell me that ain't the tightest shit.
Yeah. Oh, my dog just walked into the room. Hi, dog.
Hi,
dog. She's nice. She probably wants attention. Maybe we should end the episode. Maybe in like 10 minutes.
Sure, in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm actually gonna go try to see Alita. Let me give you. Come here, baby. Come here. Battle angle. When you're battling from a 90-degree. What if, like, I think the funniest thing is just to call it an angle that no.
Call it a what?
Like, you just, like, if you say, like, an angle that no one actually ever uses, I just think it's the funniest thing ever. It's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you from a 35-degree angle.
I'm pretty sure that's commonly used, Absalon. Pretty sure a 35-degree angle ain't that uncommon. Now if you're like, I'm gonna hit you from a 361-degree angle, it's like, what? It's like, how's that possible? You can't do more than one circle.
You're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's just staying in the same place, but you're 1 degree to the side.
Hold the fuck up.
Wait a second. I'm gonna piss my pants at 71 degrees.
Is that his ultimate technique?
It's like, oh my god, it's like the anime, like, face is, like, shocked, and it's like, he's not saying anything, but you can hear, like, inner monologue. Is that his ultimate technique? And then just the pee, and then the pee stain, like, spreads. And then, like, the ore, like, appears and is like, oh my god, he's peering up.
Oh my god, he activated his piss barrier. He's literally invincible.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What if, like, Goku went Super Saiyan, but the yellow in his hair was actually
just,
piss?
Like,
I mean, Frieza did call him and his race a monkey.
Smash.
Is that racist?
Call monkeys? I mean, they literally are monkeys.
Yeah, but like, as racist, Frieza is literally a Nazi.
He is the bad guy of the show, so being racist would not be very. I don't think that's like that surprising that the actual overlord of the universe would be racist.
Do you think it's weird that, like, people used to think that, like, Frieza was a girl?
It's only because she was voiced. I just said it. Thanks, but
you did it. You dug yourself into a corner.
Yeah, I did. Now I gotta shit and cum to get out of it. But I mean, he was voiced by a woman in the original dub, so I would not.
He was voiced by Master Genkai from Yu Yu Hakusho.
She's great, rest in peace, lady. But she
she's great.
The thing was, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people thought that Frieza was a girl. I mean, he's white and purple and just kind of has that very slimy, yeah, the Saiyan race, but
not to mention the lipstick and the voice and the mannerisms too.
The very flamboyant mannerisms were definitely not signs, but could be indicators of such things.
Yes, but as you know what they say, assuming makes an ass out of you. And
assuming means you are assuming, you ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You this that bigot person. Every word that has an at the end of it.
Obia. You stupid Obia.
Oh my god. You bitch.
Your pussy stank. Bitch.
Bitch. This is like Jesse Pinkman.
No, not Jesse Pinkman, but just with that Aaron when he was doing the whole like, what the hell is this? This is a piece of shit. Or like, I don't want video games in my video games. My wife didn't even come home to dinner, just like her. Bitch. Bitch.
Bitch.
Bitch.
Did we ever? I just remember showing you that video. It was like the ligma.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? Ligma? Ligma balls. Dab. Oh my god! It's like I think the funniest one is like grab him up. Grab of this, grab my penis, little bitch. It's like what does the dab is like, little bitch. It's like the sh.
Little bitch.
Grab a piece, little bitch. Dab.
The quick dab is the icing on the cake every time.
Yeah, but he's not even doing like the full dab. He's doing like a half dab where he's like putting his arms. He's not covering his face with it. He has it like under his chin, like on his like collarbone. That's where he's doing like the second dab. It's that's like the funniest thing. Is this guy like is he like actually a doctor? What if he was actually a doctor?
He might be. You never know.
I think he's. Yeah, I think he might be. You never know. If he's actually a doctor, then I think I'm gonna have an aneurysm just so I can see him and him telling me that like. I have the innate ability to have an aneurysm.
You just have that. You just have the ability to just be like.
I mean, it runs in my family.
No, don't do that.
I mean, like, my family does have like a history of having a bunch of like problems with aneurysms and heart problems. Probably won't have that just because like medicine gets better all the time, but still.
You're staying healthy.
I am staying healthy.
Yeah.
It's been a fun week. But yeah, I think we can't deny that we draw fat women on the internet. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, we should. So yeah, that should just be our cause, our call to just kill ourselves.
That's it. Yeah, we slowly kill ourselves by fat women drawings. Are we going to acknowledge the fact that we've been discussing actual human things, and we're just drawing this filth?
I mean, you might have.
I mean, yeah, me. I've thought that. I've thought that a lot. Anyways, that's
all the time we have for today, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to It's All Luck Based with Kreat and Absolon.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it now.
Yeah,
it's all luck.
It's all luck based. So
this is the first episode.
Live streams of this, we don't know. Tell us in the comments section below or on DeviantArt, where we post all of our stupid shit. Links in the description below, everybody. Thanks for watching. With all that, I'm Kreat.
And I'm
And we'll
Absolon.
see you later. Bye bye.
I want to die.